Long before the arrival of colonizers, the Philippine archipelago thrived with life and culture. Scattered across the islands were vibrant indigenous communities, each with unique traditions and ways of life. Among the most prominent were the Tagalogs in the lowlands of Luzon, known for their intricate weaving and farming techniques. In the Visayas, the seafaring Visayans navigated the waters with remarkable skill, building impressive boats called balangay for trade and exploration. Further south, the Moros, Islamized communities in Mindanao, developed sophisticated sultanates that flourished on maritime trade and a rich artistic heritage. These early Filipinos, despite their geographical separation, were bound by a shared ancestry and common cultural threads. They lived in villages led by datas or rajas, respected leaders who held authority over their communities. Their belief systems revolved around spirits and ancestors, honoring the natural world they deeply revered. Ancestor worship, animism, and the reverence for nature were deeply ingrained in their daily lives, shaping their rituals, arts, and social structure. Trade played a vital role in connecting these communities. The islands, rich in resources like gold, pearls, and spices, became a hub for maritime trade routes. Goods flowed between islands, facilitated by skilled navigators who braved the open seas in their sturdy balangay. These boats, capable of carrying considerable cargo, became symbols of early Filipino ingenuity and seafaring prowess, underscoring their connection to the surrounding waters. This vibrant exchange fostered a sense of shared identity among the early Filipinos, laying the foundation for a complex and interconnected archipelago. The strategic location of the Philippines in Southeast Asia attracted traders from distant lands, forever altering the cultural landscape of the islands. Among the earliest to arrive were the Chinese, drawn by the allure of Philippine pearls, beeswax, and tortoise shells. They brought with them silk, porcelain, and their distinctive cuisine, leaving an enduring mark on Filipino life. The influence of Chinese traders extended beyond material goods, introducing new ideas and technologies that gradually integrated into the local culture. From across the vast Indian Ocean sailed Indian traders, bringing with them Hinduism and Buddhism. These religions, with their philosophies and artistic traditions, found fertile ground in the islands, blending with existing indigenous beliefs. Evidence of this cultural exchange can be seen in the intricate carvings and sculptures found throughout the archipelago, reflecting a fusion of indigenous and Indian aesthetics. The arrival of Arab traders from the Middle East added another layer to the Philippines' multicultural tapestry. They introduced Islam, which quickly spread throughout the southern islands, establishing powerful sultanates in Mindanao. The arrival of Islam further enriched the cultural and religious landscape of the archipelago, establishing a strong presence that continues to shape the identity of the southern Philippines. These interactions with foreign traders enriched the pre-colonial Philippine society. They fostered cultural exchange, introduced new technologies and beliefs, and positioned the archipelago as a melting pot of different influences. This dynamic environment, characterized by adaptability and openness to new ideas, would profoundly shape the Philippines' response to the arrival of European colonizers in the centuries to come. The arrival of Ferdinand Magellan in 1521 marked a turning point in Philippine history, ushering in an era of Spanish colonialism that would last for over 3 centuries. Magellan, leading a Spanish expedition in search of a westward route to the Spice Islands, landed in the Philippines, claiming the islands for the Spanish crown. His arrival was met with resistance, culminating in his death at the hands of the chieftain Lapu-Lapu in the Battle of Mactan. Despite Magellan's demise, the Spanish were undeterred in their pursuit of colonization. Decades later, Miguel López de Legazpi arrived, establishing the first permanent Spanish settlement in Cebu in 1565. Legazpi's strategic alliance with local rulers and his subjugation of resisting communities paved the way for the gradual Spanish control of the archipelago. He moved the seat of power to Manila in 1571, transforming the coastal village into the bustling center of Spanish colonial rule in the east. Central to the Spanish colonial project was the propagation of Christianity. The Catholic Church, armed with the sword and the cross, played a pivotal role in converting the indigenous population. Churches rose in towns and villages, their imposing structures symbolizing the dominance of the Spanish faith. Friars, often the sole representatives of Spanish authority in remote areas, wielded significant influence shaping the religious and cultural landscape of the colony. The Spanish colonial period saw the Philippines drawn into a vast global empire, impacting its people in profound ways. The introduction of new crops, the implementation of forced labor, and the imposition of Spanish laws and social hierarchies irrevocably altered the fabric of Filipino society. Yet, even under the shadow of colonization, Filipino culture endured, adapting and evolving in response to the challenges and opportunities of this new era. Section 4. Sparks of Rebellion, Defiance against the Colonizers. The Spanish quest for colonization and conversion was met with resistance from the very beginning. The Filipinos, despite being divided by geography and language, shared a deep-seated love for freedom and a fierce determination to defend their lands and beliefs. Throughout the centuries of Spanish rule, this spirit of defiance manifested in numerous uprisings, both big and small, that challenged the might of the colonizers. One of the earliest and longest-lasting revolts was the Dagohoy Rebellion, led by the Boholano chieftain Francisco Dagohoy. This uprising, sparked by the refusal of a priest to give a proper burial to Dagohoy's brother, lasted for 85 years, highlighting the deep resentment towards Spanish abuses. In Luzon, the husband and wife duo of Diego and Gabriela Silong ignited a rebellion against oppressive taxation and forced labor, rallying the Ilocano people to fight for their rights. Their struggle, though short-lived, became a symbol of Filipino courage and the pursuit of justice. These revolts, though ultimately unsuccessful in overthrowing Spanish rule, were significant expressions of Filipino resistance. They demonstrated the Filipinos' deep-seated resentment towards foreign domination and their willingness to fight for their freedom. Each act of defiance, whether a local uprising or a clandestine movement, chipped away at the edifice of Spanish colonialism, planting the seeds for a future where Filipinos would claim their rightful place as masters of their own destiny. The spirit of resistance transcended social classes and geographic boundaries. From the highlands of Luzon to the coastal villages of the Visayas, Filipinos rose up against injustices, demanding recognition of their rights and dignity. These revolts, though often brutally suppressed, served as crucial precursors to the larger movement for independence that would emerge in the late 19th century. Section 5. The Birth of a Nation, Rizal Reform and Revolution. The late 19th century witnessed a burgeoning sense of nationalism sweep across the Philippines. Years of Spanish oppression coupled with exposure to liberal ideas from Europe awakened a consciousness among Filipinos, igniting a desire for self-determination. At the forefront of this movement were Filipino intellectuals known as Ilustrados, who used their pens and voices to advocate for reform and ultimately independence. Among these figures, José Rizal emerged as a national icon. A gifted writer, doctor, and polyglot, Rizal ignited the flames of revolution through his powerful novels, Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. His writings exposed the ills of Spanish colonialism, sparking a sense of national identity and inspiring a generation to fight for their rights. Rizal's advocacy for peaceful reform and his belief in education as a tool for liberation resonated deeply with Filipinos of all classes. While Rizal advocated for peaceful reform, other Filipinos saw armed struggle as the only path to freedom. In 1892, Andres Bonifacio, a warehouse worker and self-educated intellectual, founded the Katipunan, a secret revolutionary society. The Katipunan, with its membership drawn from the working class, sought to overthrow Spanish rule through armed revolution. Their cry, Katipunan, for the love of God and country, echoed across the islands, mobilizing Filipinos from all walks of life to join the fight for independence. The Philippine Revolution erupted in 1896, marking a turning point in the nation's history. Bonifacio's Katipuneros, armed with bolos and bamboo spears, faced off against the might of the Spanish colonial army. Despite their courage and determination, the Katipunan faced internal divisions and military setbacks. Rizal, accused of inciting the revolution, was executed by the Spanish authorities, his martyrdom further fueling the flames of resistance. Section 6. A Free Philippines, From American Rule to Independence. The Philippine Revolution, though initially successful in driving back the Spanish, took an unexpected turn with the entry of the United States into the fray. The Spanish-American War, fought on multiple fronts, saw the Philippines become a strategic battleground. The defeat of the Spanish fleet in Manila Bay by the Americans under Commodore George Dewey raised hopes for independence. However, these hopes were soon dashed, as the United States, instead of recognizing Philippine sovereignty, claimed the islands as its own. The Philippine-American War, a bloody and protracted conflict, ensued, with Filipinos fiercely resisting this new colonizer. The war, characterized by guerrilla warfare and atrocities committed by both sides, took a heavy toll on the Filipino people. Despite their valiant efforts, the Filipinos were eventually defeated. Their dream of immediate independence deferred. Under American rule, the Philippines underwent a period of significant transformation. The Americans introduced a new system of education, public health initiatives, and infrastructure development. However, American colonization also brought about economic exploitation and the suppression of Filipino aspirations for self-determination. The fight for independence continued, albeit through peaceful means, with Filipino leaders engaging in diplomacy and political activism. Finally, on July 4, 1946, after decades of struggle, the Philippines achieved its long-awaited independence. The day marked the culmination of centuries of resistance against colonial rule, a testament to the unwavering spirit of the Filipino people. The newly independent nation faced numerous challenges, from rebuilding a war-torn nation to addressing social inequalities and forging a national identity.